Alright, we got the powder special in the shop. Time to do top end on it. You got some we got some parts over there. And I've gone through and I've cleaned up and I've re-oiled the main bearings through those little holes. I've put the new base gaskets on there. Everything looks good. There's no big movement in these. The one thing I haven't done yet is, so we got one original jug. We're gonna reuse the jug. That wasn't too terrible. Used piston. The rings check out, and one new piston. The place that we went all around town here, you couldn't get two pistons, so we got one new one used one, and the last thing I got to do is to set the clearance in the rings. If you look closely at it here, I did mention to the owner that just have a look. So I figured I might as well bring you along. You can never have too many videos on doing rings and ring end gaps. So somebody asked me, where do you start with doing rings? Well, first of all, you want to check your rings. Sometimes the rings are different and it'll tell you which ring goes first on the piston, but if you look at it, they're both identical and they both got the same identical markings, and the markings always go up in the ring. The ring won't go like this, the ring will go up with the marking up. And the reason that is, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but sometimes the rings have a bevel. Yeah, you're not going to be able to tell, but anyway. So, how do you know what your ring end gap is? Well, you could Google it, or what's safe is you get your micrometer. We're going to check it, and for each inch of bore, you want 4/1000ths of an inch clearance on your ring end gap. Ooh. So we'll open her up here. We'll go side to side like that. Okay, so then we're going to look at it. So the bore is 3.066 inches. I'm going to take a calculator. 3.066, and we're going to times that by 4/1000ths. So we need at least a minimum of 12/1000ths of an inch clearance on the ring end gap. We're going to put the ring in the cylinder. Take the piston. We're going to even the ring out in the cylinder. We're going to take our feeler gauge right here. We're going to pop her open. We're going to find 12/1000ths. 8 to 12. 12/1000ths. You'll be able to see that, 12/1000ths, and right in the ring end gap right there, we're going to make sure this can go through there. It's good. Goes through there good. It's not excessive. I could probably find what it actually is, but for a snowmobile, for a backup sled, it's not boosted, no power adders, it'll be fine. There's one ring. And we're going to check the second ring. See, if this was like a racing engine, I'd want to know exactly what the clearance is on the rings. Exactly. Because when you add power adders like, turbos and superchargers and stuff, you create more heat, you need more gap. And second ring. And feeler gauge goes through nice and easy. Yeah, perfect. That one is right at 12. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to put the rings on the piston, and I'm going to hang the pistons on the rods. So I got the rings on the pistons. Now when you're looking at pistons, there's going to be an arrow. You see that arrow right there? The arrow will always point towards the exhaust. So we are going to put the Jesus clips in. And we call these Jesus clips because when they go flying across the room, you go, Jesus! Because you can never find them. And under no circumstances ever should you ever reuse these clips. Ever. Even for the used piston. Even the used piston, we got new clips. that's your fail-safe. If that ever, one of these clips ever breaks or, you know, comes out, then you're in a world of hurt. And for the cost of these things, I think these were, what, $5 for a pack? Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Alright, so I'm gonna stab one ring in the side of the piston, and then hang the piston on the rod. Alright, piston is ready to go. You got one of them little clips in there. It's on that side, yeah. Usually I put the hardest one in the hardest side. So, there we go. And we need bearings and side caps. So we're going to lube up the bearing. Lube up the new bearing. And the bearing's kind of like the clips there. You don't really want to be reusing them. So, let's see how we're going to do this here. Put it in the pocket. Yeah, gotta put some oil on that pin too. Or on my finger. This pin should just slide right in with no issues here. Let's go on there. Take it apart, see what's going on here with it. Alright, I got that in there. That was just one of those side clips that was stopping it. Okay. And we are going to put rag, the intake, down into the, put a rag down in the cylinders, because in the case, because we don't want to lose this clip down inside. On either side. And then we put the clip in there. Ah, you're not going to be able to see with my head in the way. Some people say that the gap in the clip has to be a certain way. I've never had that. I've never had it where it was, say, like wrong, and I had an issue because of it. Shit. Okay, well, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to turn the camera off because there will be some swearing and yelling. Because you listen to the goddamn media. And the media says if you get it, you're going to fucking die. Shit. Jesus. Get in there, you dirty rotten mother. Ow, my finger. Oh. Oh. I'm half there. Oh, is it in there? Is it in there? Oh. Oh, sweet. Oh, thank God. I hate these freaking clips. Yeah, baby. My least favorite job is doing those frickin' clips. Okay. One down, 1 to go. I got the piston on there the right way. Arrow's pointing forward. Yeah, baby. Okay. Number 2. Little bit of oil. A little bit of oil on the pin and the bearing. Okay, pull that guy out of there. Ah, shit. Like that. Here. These spacers gotta be a stupid idea. None of this stuff's gonna move when it's frickin' running. Not like the piston can walk back and forth. Yeah, these stupid things just make a pain in the butt. Uh-oh. I wonder. This is a new bearing. I wonder if this even fits in the piston. Awesome. Okay. Alright. We have to use one of the old ones because it does not fit in that piston. So, I mean, that should be okay. It's just a little, just got a little bit of color to it. Should be fine. But yeah, that one actually fits. Crap. Oh well. Not the worst one I've ever seen, and all the rollers are still there. It's just got a bit of color to it. Yeah. Alright, what's going on here?
So is this one an easy fix?
Yeah. This is the one where you had this moment of putting the engine together and not putting antifreeze in it.
Oh. Well, what about the one next, that's outside, right next to the...
Yeah, that one's gonna be an expensive fix.
Oh.
Alright, we got both of those in there. Now we're gonna slide the jug on there. I'm gonna put the new jug on the first side. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of oil in the jug. A little bit of oil in here. Lube her up nice so the rings seat. Okay, we got our base gasket in place. Jug goes this way. We got to make sure that the rings are in the right spot. One ring there, one ring there. Something like that, and this baby should just slide right on there. Got one ring on. I'm going to do this without wrecking the rings. I have wrecked rings before doing this. You like lift up on the ring and then squeeze the ring. Lift up on the ring and then squeeze the ring. Yeah, I should just do one at a time there. second one on here. Alright, gotta turn the camera off. You never seem to be able to do this with the camera watching me. Alright, I got it on there. Okay, what's going on here? That ring. And just like that. Let me turn that the right way. Yeah. Right on, there we go. Number one. What is going on here? Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. That is not going to go on there. Okay. Look at that pin. I'm not going to be able to see that. Right down inside there. Look at that. What the hell did that? I'm going to have to drill that out. Alright, I just took my drill, drilled that out a little bit. Come on, focus, baby. Yeah, should be good now. Weird. Very weird. Just put a drop more oil in there. Okay, take two. Oh, what the heck's going on now? Go. There we go. Alright, let's try this again. There we go. Huh. No wonder. Just that pin. Just tap that down into place. Like that. And just like that. She is down into place. Right on. Right on, right on. For half there. And we can put some nuts on here. I don't, I'm actually not going to torque any of this into cylinders until I get the exhaust on there. Because if you torque the cylinders and you try to put the exhaust on, you'll never get that header on there. because it'll never line up. And number 2. Just like the other one, a little bit of oil in the jug. Let these used rings seat a little bit. Alright. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see with my big head in the way, but we'll try this. Watch this baby just slide right down there. Just like I said. That went on there nice. Very impressive. And just like that. Right on, right on, right on. That's 2. Nice, very nice. So, I'll be able to turn these on and then put the exhaust on there. Alright, so let's see about getting the exhaust in there. Yeah. Capture okay? 1, 2. Like that. And like that. So that's under. I gotta tighten it up. Tighten under, guys. Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Sure. Does anyone see that in my head? Alright. So don't hate me, but I usually don't torque stuff like this with a torque wrench. Like, it's small engine stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to be super god-awful tight, but it needs to be somewhat tight. Remember, you got gaskets to take up the clearances, so it doesn't have to be super tight. I mean, I could look it up, but I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 35 foot-pounds, which is something like that. Same with the heads. Like, you don't have to, Jesus, tighten everything up. If you're not comfortable doing it, well, hell, get a torque wrench. You do this job long enough, you know what 35 foot-pounds feels like. And if you're not confident with it, well, come back, check it later. Like, that's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to be super tight. I'll pull it over and I just want to listen. Ah, looks good. Looks good, sounds good. Alright. And you can hear the vacuum too. Right on. Okay. Alright. Time for the head. So these don't have, say, your normal head gasket per se. They've got O-rings. I put them in dry. I don't put any grease or anything on them. If I think I might have to take it apart again, I'll put some dielectric grease or some Sil-Glide or silicone paste. You see how this one doesn't quite want to fit. So I'll just take her, just give her just a little bit of a stretch, and put her back in there again. What you don't want is to have it to where it's so tight it pops out of the groove when you go put the head on. Yeah, it's going to fight me. That one's going to fight me, so we'll just put the others on there for now. And these brown rings are supposed to be heat rated for combustion. these big ones. Big ones just need just a little bit of a stretch here. Not much, you don't want to overstretch it. Ah, perfect, see? Just a little wee bit of a stretch and then she's in place. And see this guy here. Just a little bit of a stretch. And that just falls right into place. Excellent. Just want a little bit more of this guy here. And she just falls into place like butter. Alright. I just want to double check and make sure that nothing's sitting proud. And we can drop the head back on. This is the fun part, putting the head on and not moving it at all. You want to drop it on there. Make sure those O-rings don't go anywhere. I'm just going to have a look. O-rings have not gone anywhere. Everything looks good. Nothing's outside the grooves. So just drop it back down. Don't want to slide it around on there too much. Okay. No power tools. I'm putting these in. I want to feel every thread. I want to make sure everything feels okay. Putting it in, you just slam these in there with an impact. Well, you're kind of asking for a bit of trouble. These also have O-rings. Every head bolt has got an O-ring on the base, which for me is a little bit weird. I'm not used to working on Arctic Cat stuff, but a sled is a sled. They're all the same. They do the same thing. They run the same way. They blow up the same way. Of course, my armpit's gonna be in the way. Hopefully my butt crack's not in this video. I did, however, notice my butt crack in the last couple of my videos. I swear it's not on purpose. I'm convinced I've got a false butt crack. Alright. So just like the cylinders, because these are O-rings, you want to go maybe 20 foot-pounds for the head bolts. Like, this stuff is not tight. I mean, I saw one of these where one of my favorite guys there, Michael Sabo, he was taking apart that side-by-side he had, that Ranger, and he couldn't even get the bolts apart. He needed a big-ass breaker bar. Like, that's bad. They should never be that tight. Alright. So I'm going to go through, tighten that up, and then I'm going to get my compression tester, even though, you know, it's cold, whatever. When I did the compression test last time, you notice there was nothing. There was like 5 pounds. We'll check it out now. It should be upwards of over 100 with cool. And remember, there's also oil in the cylinders. So we should get some good numbers out of it. Okay. Torque wrench is set. Alright, compression tester is hooked up. Let's see how good that used piston and rings are. So I think anything over 100 is pretty decent. And that is, yeah, about 110. That'll do just fine. Alright, and the new piston and rings. Hopefully it's not too much more than that. Alright, let's have a look at her. Oh, it's about 100. The other one was about 110. That's about 119. So you can vary 10 pounds per side. So I mean, this will run okay, and it'll break in on the PTO side. I mean, it's not ideal, but it'll run okay. As long as you're not trying to do any crazy mountain pulls, that'll be just fine. Okay, I'm gonna slap that exhaust back on her and see if I can get her to run. And when I do engines like this, I don't actually put any coolant in it until I know it runs. That's way that you don't have to drain everything out once you get it running. If you say had problems and you put coolant in it, and say a gasket dislodged or you're not getting compression or something and you got to take it apart, well, now you got to drain all that coolant out of it. So I will run it for a couple seconds, and yeah, that's what we'll do. I'm going to throw the exhaust back on there. Might as well bring you along with me and keep the charade going. Yeah, gross. Go all the way around, I guess. A little bit of rust. Ah! Ouch. Okay. On there. Goes on there. Yeah. Which way? Like that. Oh, Jesus. I hate these frickin' springs. Oh, holy shit. Jeez, I'm gonna block out, I'm pulling so hard. Least favorite job, aside from putting those piston pins in, putting exhaust springs on. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Whoo! That was gnarly. Okay, I'll put that guy back on there. Can you even see what I'm doing? Yeah, kinda. I'll put some more springs on over here. These guys are looking nice and rusty. So when they go through your finger, make sure they go through your finger. Get a trip to the hospital for a shot. Oh! I saw sparks. Getting springs. Okay. And it's on there. Alright. Woo, okay. So what's next? what do we gotta do here? Gotta get that coolant line on there, and then we could try to fire it up. Yeah. All right. Sure the tools are out of there. This is something I'd like to do before I fire an engine up that I don't really know anything about. I want to make sure that I can shut it off, because I've built engines and something wasn't right in the wiring. Tried to shut it off, something was going wrong, I could not shut it off, and I had to build it twice. So I'm going to make sure, push the kill, make sure there's no spark, pull the kill up, make sure there is spark. I don't see any spark at all. Interesting. I wonder why that is. Something get unplugged. Very weird. I see, oh, is the key off? Well, this thing ain't gonna start without spark. Strange. Well, I'll be damned. What is going on here? I wonder if I unplug something, it'll be in. Uh-oh, what's that for? Uh-oh. Alright, gotta do some digging here, see what I did. Well, I'm stumped. We cannot figure out why it does not have spark. Sort of kind of leaning towards either the stator is cooked or something shorting in the computer. So we're more leaning towards the stator is cooked because of how hot this thing would have gotten to eat those pistons up. And just I did some preliminary testing on it, ohmed out the stator, and it's basically non-existent. There's coils that aren't even connected, and yeah, there's no spark. No spark you do. So I'm going to end this video here, and I guess I'm going to have to do a diagnosing video on why it doesn't have spark, but it will be running. I'll have this thing running eventually, just not today. So that's why I'm going to end this video here. We'll call this the rebuild part 1 or part 2 or something. Yeah, something like that. Well, things have kind of escalated somewhat quickly. As you can see, there's a few things missing down there. And shop's a mess again. But let me show what's going on here now. Flywheel is destroyed. And the magnets in there, that one's cracked. That one's cracked. That one's cracked. All due to heat. I mean, these things can take a bit of abuse, but they cannot take heat. And I gotta tell you, man, so he gave me a spare stator. He had a spare stator. But, good God, check this one out. That is so warped. It's not even in alignment anymore. Oh yeah, minus the missing honk there. Let's see if I can find the worst of it. Right there. Look at that. You see that? It goes, ooh, and then back up. Holy mother of God. Hey, you can even see it on the face there. You can see it's all popped up. So this project's on a standstill until you can get one of these. I mean, I might be able to glue the pieces of the magnet back in. But, like, I haven't seen one this bad. I've seen it crack, but, I mean, look, there's pieces. Pieces of the magnet. And no, before you ask, I did not beat it off with the hammer. You put a puller on it, a little bit of heat, a little bit of tapping on the puller, and it just pops right off. So if you were to beat it off with a hammer, you might crack the magnets, but more than likely, the cracks are due to heat, excessive heat. So yeah, that's it. I might as well post this video because, I don't know, parts are really hard to come by with all this old girl. Oh yeah, he also brought me a spare computer. I threw this computer on, still no spark. So I dived a little bit deeper. And yeah, broken flywheel, destroyed stator. So that's what happens when you don't put coolant in your sled. Bad things happen, they happen quick. So that's it. I'm going to post this video.